we're going to be starting a new series, and we're going to be covering famous chess traps. And I think this will be fun. I enjoy chess traps, and I think people can learn from them, and at the same time make sure that they do not fall into any of the traps that we're going to go over. So the first trap we're going to be going over today is the Kieninger Trap, and it derives from the Budapest Gambit, which is a gambit from black, which you don't often see since gambits are usually from the white side. But it starts off with pawn to d4, responded by black developing to knight f6, and white's going to continue pawn to c4, and black's going to offer up his pawn on e5, and this is the Budapest Gambit that we were talking about. And white's simply going to capture the pawn on e5, and black's going to continue with knight to g4. And we are attacking this pawn on e5. Now white has two options. He can just give up the pawn on e5 and give up the pawn advantage, or he can try to hold on to it. And the trap is going to stem from the line if white tries to hold on to the extra pawn that he has. So from here, white's going to add a defender to this pawn with bishop to f4. As you can see, black has one attacker and white has one defender. And so black's going to continue his assault on the e5 pawn, developing his knight to c6 and adding another attacker. And white's going to continue with knight to f3, developing his knight, and at the same time adding an extra defender to the e5 pawn. And from here, black wants to bring his queen to e7, but he wants to get his bishop out first. You obviously don't want to block your bishop, so black's first move is going to be bishop to b4 check. And from here, you often see knight to d2, kind of setting up the trap in itself. And from here, black is going to continue with queen to e7. Obviously, as you can see now, we have three attackers on the e5 pawn, and white only has two defenders. So white's going to have to choose a different strategy. And from here, a lot of times you'll see pawn to e3, basically attacking the bishop and trying to kick that out here. And from here, black can actually safely take on e5. Obviously white, if they capture this knight, they have two attackers, and black has two defenders, so they can easily hold on to this pawn that they captured. And here is the trap, and so many players will fall for it if they are not looking, and that's simply A captures bishop on b4. And from here you can probably see it. Black can come in to d3 unexpectedly and checkmate. So, anytime you do play the Budapest Gambit, if you're black, then look out for this. If white tries to hold on to their pawn on e5 and you see this, then make them pay. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. There's going to be a ton more videos on famous traps coming out. So, if you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching.